Okay, so I want to welcome everyone back to this week's edition of the Northern Nerdcast, where we showcase the geeky and nerdy people, groups, and events that happen in and around the Edmonton area. The Northern Nerdcast is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. Please feel free to head on over to albertapodcastnetwork.com for a list of amazing Alberta-made podcasts. We would also like to encourage everyone out there that if you enjoy this show, to share it with your friends on social media. This way, we are able to help grow the community here in Edmonton and keep everyone up to date on the latest news and information regarding the geeky and nerdy people, groups, and events that happen around the city. Also, if you or someone you know would like to be featured on our show, please feel free to contact us over at northernNerdNetwork.com. Now, let's get on with the show. All right. Like I said, my name is Dan Schessel, and we are on the Nerdcast. And today on this show, we have none other than the hands down, the greatest co-hostess to be ever on this planet. That's right, Chelsea Thompson.
To ever co-host ever. No pressure.
Yeah. Yes. Out of all that's all shows, right? So.
All of them. Yep. I win all the shows.
Yeah. We need a trophy made up for this. Truly. Welcome back to the show, Chelsea.
Thank you.
2 in a row now.
Yeah.
You're on a roll.
Mm-hmm. I am on a roll. I feel like I'm stocking up because I'm going traveling in July, so I will be away. I mean, I think we're going to take a little break also in July, but yeah. I figure I need to be here for a few in a row if I'm going to be away for a while. So,
yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And also on today's show today, we have Rainford. Is that I don't know.
Rayford.
Or
Ray. Just stick with Ray. That's easier.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Ray tonight. And he's from the Frozen Machine.
That I am. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
We are so excited to have you. I mean, we've talked over the years. We've interviewed you guys for a few little things. Like usually it's on site and we'll talk to you guys, but we've actually never had you on the Nerdcast before.
No. Every day that goes by, we sit down and we say, why has Northern Nerd Network not had us on yet?
And it's I went through my my episodes and I'm going, we haven't had the Frozen Machine on. How has this happened?
When he messaged me last week to ask if I was good to podcast this week, he was like, can you be here? You should be here. We're going to have an awesome guest on. They're great. You should really be here. He was so excited about it.
Yes.
That's good. Gave me time to get my hair cut and done all nicely and everything. So we're all prepped, ready to go.
Looking good. That's awesome. All right. So we like to start off every show by getting really down to the heart and soul of every guest that we have on our show by asking them, what do they have on their geek show? So Ray, do you have anything for your geek shelf?
I do. I have a special item. Let me just scooch way down so you can see it. Although it's probably backwards for you. This is a promo item we made. So it's our own custom geek item that we made to promote our upcoming game, Reading Rush. So we took this with us to shows all last year and set it up in our booth. So I guess I'll jump into an explanation of Reading Rush so you know why we have giant letter blocks back there. Reading Rush is an 8-bit style arcade puzzle game. It's sort of like Tetris, but with letters. So the basic idea of the game is that rows of alphabet blocks will fall down from the top of the screen to the bottom, and you have to tap each letter in the row in correct alphabetical order, and that clears the row, and you have to keep the screen from filling up. So that's the basic gameplay. So that's why we have all these lovely handmade custom letter blocks behind us, spelling out Reading Rush. That's the idea we had behind this was, as a contest, we wanted to get people to sign up to our newsletter and Twitter and so on. So we said, we'll jumble up the letters, and if you can rearrange them within 1 minute, you'll win a prize. And then if you tweet out the photo or like us on Facebook or whatever, you get entered for a bonus prize. And it kind of backfired on us because it was way harder than we thought it would be. Just setting up the letters here for this podcast, it took me about 5 minutes knowing what letters had to go where. I still had trouble finding them all. And but we've got it now. It's very awkward to store, very awkward to display. So it was all around a big bust, but it looks nice in the background there. So
it looks fantastic.
Good for something at least.
That's awesome. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Reading Rush a little bit later on the show.
For sure. I know I kind of jumped the gun there, but it doesn't make sense.
No, that's good.
It is what it is, right? You
Give the people a taste of what's coming.
That's right.
A little teaser,
But we're just I'm gonna hop over back to Chelsea. How have you been? What's been going on?
Good. Yeah, I've been all right. My last couple of weeks has been pretty good. I've been back on set a little bit and had a really good day last week. That was lots of fun, and yeah.
And you got your 3rd credit now?
I did. Yeah, I was on set and happened to get upgraded, and so I got my 3rd credit, which is really exciting. So I get to, once the paperwork comes in, I get to register that, and I'll be a full UBCP full union member, which is exciting. So
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? How's your last week? Couple of weeks been?
My last couple of weeks have been pretty good. I've been working pretty hard, pretty steady. That's basically it.
You do work a lot.
I do work a lot. But I've been trying to keep up with all the awesome E3 news that's been coming out in the last little while. Have you guys been keeping up with any of it?
No, I haven't.
I've caught bits and pieces of it here and there. I saw most of the Microsoft presentation. I saw some of Nintendo's, and then caught replays of little bits here and there.
Just some of Nintendo's?
Just some of Nintendo's, yeah.
Did you
get some work
the
done.
main things? Yeah. New Zelda they're working on. Yeah, I love how they're like, we're working on the Zelda. Just so you know. It'll come out in like 100 years from now.
But we are working on it.
We're working on it now.
But it'll be amazing when it comes out.
It will be amazing when it comes out.
It'll be worth the wait.
I don't like, and with the Nintendo Switch, it's just like the one system I think that just won't die anytime soon. I know they're coming out with new consoles for Xbox and PlayStation, but that Switch has got so much legs. It's gonna be around for a while longer.
I hope so.
Oh. I'm surprised. There was rumors of a smaller Switch coming out and a few other little things, and we haven't seen any of that yet. So I'm kind of curious if they'll ever come up with just a refresh of the Switch in any way. Everyone else has done refreshes, but Nintendo's like, no, we just
they kind of do their own thing all the time though. So
it's like, you know what, a refresh that you'll get? How about blue microcontrollers or whatever they're Joy-Cons?
We'll change the color. We'll put a new skin. We'll put a new skin on it.
That's right.
They'll
we'll
go plaid
now. Yeah.
And how about you, Ray? How's your week been?
Oh, pretty typical. Other than E3 happening, the rest has just been work, and then come home and then do some more work. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much
what a terrible answer to an interview. I didn't do anything. I'm boring.
No, not at all. It means you've been hard at work on new games like Reading Rush. There we go. Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
You took that cue. You
need a little sparkle effect that goes off right there when I do
Ding.
that. Yeah.
So no, it's good that you were working because it means when we start peppering you with questions about what Frozen Machine has been up to, you'll have all the goods for us.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we just take our quick first little break here, and we will come back and we're going to talk a bit more about, the Frozen Machine, Reading Rush, all the awesome stuff that you guys got going. So we will come back and stay tuned. All right. So this week's edition of the Northern Nerdcast is brought to you by Unit B Co-working. Unit B is a multi-company co-working space focused on helping people pursue their passions and making Edmonton its creative best. Join a tight-knit group of freelancers, startups, and established organizations, all dedicated to getting things done. Besides desks and offices, Unit B offers members access to its podcasting studio and meeting spaces, as well as a kitchen and Wi-Fi and the usual amenities. It's located in the historic McKinney building on 104th Street, close to everything downtown, including the Bay LRT station. Book your tour today at unitb.ca. All right. Like I said, we have today on the show, we got Ray joining us today from, I was going to say Reading Rush. You are. the Frozen Machine. Yeah. Who's working on Reading Rush. And so let's just start off real quick with people who may be unfamiliar with the Frozen Machine. What is Frozen Machine? What are you guys doing?
The Frozen Machine is a 3-man game development studio based here in Edmonton. We've been around for a little over 3 years now, officially. It's myself and my 2 partners, Adrian Nieto and Alex Hillhouse, who do all of the work, and then I get to come on podcasts like this and take all of the credit. And
it's a one-man show, really. I mean, come on.
Sorry?
It's a one-man show. It's just
there
great.
We go. Yeah. Just me. There's no one else. I do everything. Exactly. But like many other small studios, we're trying to make our mark in the game design industry and be able to do this full time, which we haven't accomplished yet. But
you're working on it.
We are working on it, little by little.
Little by little. You guys did a game, and it's been released for a while. Tuna Cycle.
Yeah, we actually have 2 games out. Tuna Cycle was our first game. Came out in 2016. So that was a game about life, love, and fish, as the pitch went, where you played as either Louis or Louise the tuna, and you're getting ready for your big fancy fish date. And of course, how else would you do that? By riding a unicycle down an old-fashioned boardwalk, picking up all the items you need for the day. It's totally logical, makes perfect sense. So that was just a simple mobile game.
With it.
No, how could you argue with that? That was a simple mobile game. It used gyroscope, the tilt controls, so you had to stay balanced on your unicycle and try to make it as far as you could. So that was our first game, and then since then we've released another game called Bugs Are Stupid, which started off as an old student project. And it's a game about defending a picnic table. It's a real picnic panic. You have to defend a picnic table from waves of invading bugs. And you do that mostly by rolling a baseball around, also using the gyro controls, squishing the bugs and protecting your food. But then it'll mix the gameplay up with different modes, different ways of squishing the bugs, and different modifiers to make it more challenging. So that came out in 2017. And then we didn't release anything last year. This year, we'll see how it goes. We're already halfway in, but hopefully Reading Rush comes out before the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys have been telling me Reading Rush is going to be coming out anytime now.
Anytime. It's been a month from release for, well, I'm not going to admit how long, but too many months now. But it is, now it is, of course, about a month away. So keep a close eye out.
Ooh, I'm excited because I've tried Reading Rush when I've seen you guys at conventions, and that thing is so difficult. You're thinking, oh, it's just putting letters in the right order. I know how the alphabet works.
Catches people off guard. They definitely sometimes people bite off more than they can chew. It's really funny. Sometimes you get people, they'll be playing it and you can hear them sort of humming to themselves the alphabet song. Trying to remember, okay, where does H come? A, B, C. Okay, there, I got that one. Meanwhile, the rows are, continually pressuring them down, and they're starting to panic. It's fun. So,
yeah. So, where did the concept for Reading Rush even come from? Like, where did that start?
That also started back when we were students. It's Adrian's idea, his baby, his project. He initially wanted to make a game to help his young niece, who was, I think, 3 or 4 at the time, learn how to read. So that's where the initial concept came from. She, of course, knows how to read now. She's much older than that, but we've stuck with the game idea. It's went through several iterations since then, but that's where the initial concept came from. Was he wanted this game that would teach the alphabet.
That's awesome. And you guys now have like added characters and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it kind of ran away from us a little bit, but that's okay. So the gameplay I described earlier, where you have the rows of alphabet blocks coming down and you have to alphabetize them to clear them, that's the base game mode, arcade mode. And then once you get a handle of that, you can move over to adventure mode. And adventure mode, you select a character to play as, and you'll battle against the other remaining characters. So we have 5 at the moment. We're getting 2 more ready for release after the game is out. And each character has 3 unique powers, and you charge up your powers by clearing the rows. And so you have to strategically use each power at the right time to defeat your opponent and progress in the game. And
Nice.
the whole framing device is that each character is played by a little kid playing in a backyard, and it's a whole bunch of kids playing dress up. So when you're in the main menu, you see the kid version in just Halloween costumes and cardboard boxes and stuff. And then when you go into the actual game, you see what they're really imagining characters for real. So
That's awesome.
it culminates in a secret boss fight, which I've been telling everyone about. So it's not that secret.
That's amazing. So, like, what possessed you guys to even try go into game development in the first place?
I'm not sure I could speak for Adrian and Alex. For me, I was in university. I was studying computer engineering, and I was getting close to the end of my degree, and I realized I didn't really like engineering at all. And with the real world looming on the horizon, I figured I better find something I wanted to do quickly. So game design came back. I'd always had an interest in game design from a little kid, but as a little kid, I dismissed it and said, oh, you got to know how to program to make video games and computer games. I'll never know how to do that. And then fast forward 15 years and I knew how to program. So I figured maybe I could
Why
make
not?
it. Mm-hmm.
So I always like to find out about the beginnings of things on this show. So did you and your 2 partners all meet at school?
Yes. So we all started at NATE, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, if you want the whole name.
Mm-hmm.
And we started in a continuing education program there, so just evening classes. I think that was in 2012. And it was supposed to be a pretty quick program. I think there were only 10 courses in the certificate, so it's supposed to take about a year to a year and a half. As we went through, we had about 15 or 20 people in the initial classes with us, and every semester there were fewer and fewer people. They were either dropping out or moving to the full version of the program in daytimes. So we had a lot of classes that ended up being canceled for low enrollment, and they kind of shifted the program around. So it ended up taking 3 years. And by the end of it, the last semester was our capstone project, and it was we 3 who were the only ones left still in that original program who started. So we were the ones with the staying power.
Stuck it out to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, it's amazing how people just fall off of things, right? Like, and it takes 3 years for that program. That's incredible.
Yeah, we were too stubborn, too stupid to quit. So.
It's like, we've gone this far now.
Yeah.
So the other 2 games that you guys have already rolled out, you also mentioned that the impetus came as part of student projects that you then kept working on. But I like to hear the ideas. I mean, for Reading Rush, you mentioned that it was for one of your partner's nieces learning to read. Where did the ideas come from? I mean, I'm especially interested in Fishes on Unicycles, where that idea came from.
That, I should have had it handy. I could have shown you. That came from a doodle on a yellow sticky note originally. It was
amazing.
It was just a doodle about the pun, tunicycle, fish on unicycle. So it was just a fish and a unicycle and the pun tunicycle below it. And from that, we built the whole game.
Amazing. That's amazing.
It's one of those things where you get a joke and then it just keeps
sticks
going.
in your brain and doesn't go away.
That's the thing. Yeah. But hey, we can make a game around this, and we never really stopped. And
I love Tunicycle. Tunicycle is just an amazing. It's a very simple concept of a game, just stay balanced and
Mhm.
keep going. But my goodness, is that hard?
Yes, that was a mistake, a design mistake on our part. It turns out when you're working on a game full time for 6 months and playing it and testing it, you get a little bit good at it. So your idea of what what a beginner level is kind of gets a little bit skewed. So that was a good lesson learned by us. But yeah, it does make the initial difficulty a little bit tough to get into. But we find people can get the hang of it, especially little kids. Like when we were showing it at conventions and expos and such, little kids they seem to get a hold of it, and their parents are there going like this with the tablets and falling over after they've played for 3 seconds. And the kids are just there, they're focused and driven, and they got it. Locked in.
I did find that the trick is not to tip it too
Over-
much.
It does take a subtle touch.
oversteer.
It
Mhm.
does. It's very subtle, and that's the thing. Like if like a lot of people will want to overcompensate because it's like, oh my goodness, this guy's falling. That no,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's just it's a really hard game. But it sometimes is one of those ones where you're like, I know I can get a little further, and you just get that little bit better every single time you
One more
play it. Yeah.
one more step ahead each time you play.
It's like that Flappy Bird that everyone came up with, right?
Right.
And it was ridiculously hard. I hate that game so much. I can only get to like second pipe or something stupid like that. I throw the phone.
I think there was a game about throwing your phone. Did you ever hear about that one?
No.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was a game where you had to throw your phone up in the air, and it tracked how high or how fast you threw it or something based on the accelerometers, and then it told you how high it went.
That is.
I feel like that's just broken screens waiting to happen.
I think there's a huge disclaimer at the start saying don't throw your phone or something like that.
You could break your phone.
Don't throw your phone in the game about throwing your phone.
Just toss it up lightly, just a little bit, and that's it. That's all.
And so then your picnic game being the second game out of the gate, did you take stuff having the same setup, moving it with the gyroscope, same sort of movement in the game? Did you pick and choose and take from things that worked and didn't work from Tuna Cycle? And
yes, I don't know if we were successful, but we did do a post-mortem we do it on each of our games. So once it's done and out, we take a bit of a breather, and then we come back to it and say, well, what did we do well? And there's about 4 points on one side of the sheet that we did well. And then we say, what did we do poorly? And that fills up the whole rest of the page and the back, and then several more pages after that. So we definitely were able to take the stuff we'd learned about reading from the gyroscope and having that as a controller and use that. And I made a whole new set of mistakes with Bugs Are Stupid.
So I know you're still working away on Reading Rush, hoping to get it finished to have it released. I don't know, without giving away secrets or spoilers, do you have new weird ideas percolating that once Reading Rush is out there and published, of new things you want to try and put out into the world? Absolutely.
When we started up, we made a business plan, of course, and we added all of the ideas we had collectively to it. And I think there were over 36 ideas in that document alone. And of course, the list has grown. But for specifics, coming up next will be an idea created by Alex, the third guy in the group. So it'll be his time to shine and direct a project. And the working title for it is Grab the Loot. And it will be
I like that.
Indie pixel art party game, I think, is where we're heading with that.
Nice.
So the basic idea is that it'll be a 2D side scroller, auto scroller. You're running through a dungeon, and you play as one of 3 classes, either the fighter, the mage, or the thief. And scattered throughout the dungeon as you go through is all sorts of loot and treasure. And there are scraps, gaps, and tricky traps, as I like to say. So there's monsters you have to fight. There's, of course, gaps that you have to jump over, and there's booby traps to avoid. And each of the 3 classes is able to avoid one type of hazard. and is vulnerable to the others.
Nice.
So we have a single player mode for sure mapped out, and then we might get really ambitious and try some sort of multiplayer or even cooperative play where there are pieces of loot that you have to have multiple classes working together to grab. So
fancy.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. So talking a little bit about some of your characters that you have in your game here. Do you have characters that kind of cross over games, or
yes, actually. We have Lewis and Louise, the two tuna fish from our first game, Tuna Cycle, make a guest appearance in Reading Rush as a playable character. They're together as one character.
Yay.
You can't split them up. So we definitely do have that.
Because they had an amazing date, right? So this is their second date. Is that how it works?
They did. They finally got together because they never meet in Tuna Cycle. An endless runner. So that's the great tragedy of the game. So we had to put them together finally.
He's always trying to gather up all this stuff and then keeps falling on his face before he gets to the end.
Yeah, no matter how far you ride, you never reach your love.
So sad.
It is. It's a tragic game.
But they're in Reading Rush then.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and we have a couple other characters who come from other game ideas that we've had and talked about, but haven't been able to tackle yet as projects. So it's almost like a reverse guest appearance or foreshadowing, I guess.
It's like one day these ones.
One day there'll be nice anecdotes or Easter eggs.
That's awesome. What else do we got? So what started, I want to know, like, sort of what for yourself, what kind of started the love of just even making games or even playing games for you began?
I've always played games. I think like most people growing up with video and computer games, but for making games, I had a lot of hobbies over the years, from art and cartooning to messing around trying to write music, terrible music, to playing around with code, designing puzzles, that sort of thing. And I finally realized that if you took all of these different hobbies together and put them in one package, you have a video game. So there's really nothing about the video game creation process that I don't like. From the initial concept and design, figuring out the mechanics, writing the dialogue, trying out our hand at voice acting, writing the code, the music, the sound effects, the artwork, the animation. I enjoy doing every part of that. So that's one of the fantastic things about being an indie dev is you do get to put your hands in all the different areas and control the creative side of things completely.
Nice.
So it's kind of speaking on like being able to control everything, creatively. Like walk us through sort of the process for yourself in creating a game. Like there's got to be an awful lot of work. I mean, you guys have been working on Reading Rush for quite a while now, but like
2 years almost.
Yeah. So like, kind of like for yourself, like, how did you guys get started with the Reading Rush, and then how do you guys sort of get to here now?
Well, we're still sort of learning the process and developing it as we go, but we have sort of 4 main phases that a game goes through. There's the concept phase where we try and nail down all of the features and sort of the scope of the project and make sure we all have a clear understanding of what's going to go into the game. So that's where we write the design doc and do the pitch papers and do a little bit of prototyping, things like that. Then we have the design phase where we really flesh out the design and try and, the way I like to approach it is I try and think of every question that we would have when making the game, every question that a player might have, and try and answer that in the design. So I like to try and write a design doc that I could hand to someone else and have no more involvement in the project, and they'd still be able to take that and make something close to what I was picturing. And then after design, you jump into development, which of course is a big part of making games. So that's where the actual work gets done, writing the code and creating all the art assets and such, much of the testing. And then the final phase, which a lot of people might not think about, we learned that the hard way, is the publishing phase. So it's not enough just to make the game. you have to get the game out into the world, and there's a lot of hurdles doing that, of course. All sorts of promotion, marketing, but also the technical side of things, making sure it's polished enough, bug-free enough to actually go out the door. So that, of course, is a very long process. It's not totally linear. We jump around a little bit, but we try and just start from a top level in the concept and outline the overall tasks and areas of work that will have to be done, and then we split it up among the three of us. And then it sort of falls into just becoming a giant to-do list. We're up to item, I can't remember, 200 and some for Reading Rush at the moment of things still to be done. So we just keep a log of that and start crossing stuff off.
That's awesome. Like, so for yourself, it's like, obviously it's a lot of work. You guys are not quite full-time with it, but you guys are trying to head that direction, right?
Right. When we first started out, we talked about it and we said we really should try and do this full-time to make a real go of it, at least to get ourselves started and a foot in the door. So for the first year to year and a half, we actually were all three of us full-time working on it, just living off of savings and such, self-funding the company. And it was great. We got the company started up. We made and published our first 2 games. And then we ran out of money. So now we all have other jobs. So now we are doing this part-time, just sort of evenings and weekends. And it is definitely a different beast from doing it full-time. It's still enjoyable, but it makes us miss the days when we had an office and it was just the 3 of us in there and all we had to do was make games every day, all day.
So, go ahead, Dan. No, you got a follow-up question. Mine is kind of an unrelated tangent.
Oh, mine was too, but it's okay. So you guys even were kind of like a little bit of a focus on kind of funny there with Greg Miller there. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
That was amazing. That was all Adrian's doing. He's our social media manager. So anything you see posted on any of our social media accounts, any sort of replies you get, that's all Adrian doing that. And he's the one who follows a lot of the industry news like that, and he reached out to Greg Miller, and I hadn't even realized how big a deal it was at first. He said, oh, we're in this kind of funny showcase, we got to put something together quickly, a little trailer. And I said, oh, that's great, not realizing just how big it was. At the time I didn't even realize it was sort of they had to pick and choose who was going to be in the showcase. I thought it was anyone who applied got in. So once I found that out, that was very special. It was quite a compliment to have been chosen. And we foolishly put a release date in that trailer, which is long since passed, but we have gotten some good feedback from being a part of that.
That's amazing. And like I've met Greg Miller once before. Super awesome guy. And that's pretty cool to just even get a mention just even from him. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's great when big people like that in the industry take time to focus on indies. Even just the 30 seconds that you get in a compilation video like that is amazing for a studio like us, for a team like us. So it's really nice that the industry is moving in that direction, trying to give focus to the smaller projects that might still have something neat to offer.
Well, that's just it. The other thing is, like, most of the time they're always so focused on these big games, and they're always focused on these console games or whatever it is. And yours is just a little phone puzzle game, right? Mm-hmm. And just like it's awesome to see that. Like, if people haven't seen the game yet, where can people find this? Like, where can people meet up with you guys on like an event or something? Because they got to try this thing. Because when they do, it's a lot of fun. It really is. Like, it's one of those kind of games where, like I said, it's a lot harder than you first initially think, right? So where can people find you guys to even get their hands on playing this?
So the best place is probably to follow our Twitter. I'd say that's our most active. We're at Frozen Machine. And then on pretty much everything else, we're at The Frozen Machine, THE Frozen Machine. It gets updated less periodically, and we also have a website, thefrozenmachine.com, which is the least updated of anything. But when Reading Rush is finally ready and is out the door, all of those will be promoted and have the announcement on them. We also have a mailing list, I don't think we have the sign up on our website yet, but that should be up at some point where you can sign up to the mailing list and get a notification as well.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and I have for everyone out there watching the show today, if you guys go on to the links down below, we do have all the links for you guys for the Frozen Machine in the descriptions there. So go check that out. Go check out all their stuff. And where can people find the other games that you guys have already worked on?
So they're both for iOS and Android. So I think if you search Tuna Cycle, that'll probably give you the most distinct hits on either the App Store or the Play Store. And then that'll, of course, link to our other games. There are 2 versions of each game. One is free and contains ads, and the other is a paid download without ads. The game is the same either way. That was our initial business model, and it's so successful that we've made about $6 in ad revenue over 3 years. So we'll try something different on Reading Rush, but we'll leave those 2 alone as they are and learn our lesson there.
Awesome. All right. Should we just take another quick little break here?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get back, and we have some more events for people to go and check out over the next little while. All right, so stay tuned. So this edition of the Northern Nerdcast is brought to you by the Alberta Podcast Network.com. And if you, powered by ATV. And right now we have oh man, how do I even put it? We have an offer code. That's, see, my brain is working here slowly. And we partnered with Seat Giant to offer you a deal on tickets to major sporting events, big concerts, popular theater throughout North America, and more. Whether you're at home or on vacation, check out Seat Giant for tickets on the hottest events for like the upcoming CFL season, John Cleese or Oprah Winfrey. Who knows? There's all sorts of tickets that you guys can go out and check out there. So visit seatgiant.ca to find tickets and use the promo code APN at checkout to get 5% off your purchase. You'll save a bit, and the network gets a little cut of that purchase too. All tickets are in Canadian dollars for the event that are in the US, and Seat Giant is a Canadian owned and operated company, and it guarantees every ticket. So help yourself to a great experience while helping out the Alberta Podcast Network and a Canadian owned business. Visit seatgiant.ca and use the offer code APN at checkout. All right. I would also like to make a quick mention that we do have, and I don't know why I didn't put this down in the links down below, but I will probably do that shortly. We do have a survey out right now that you guys should go and check out as well. That'll tell people how we're doing with the network, what shows you guys are listening to, all that kind of fun stuff. So if you guys can just take a couple minutes out of your time and go and do that, we'd really appreciate it. And I think that's only going to be the last. I should have probably mentioned it, the last, 3-4 episodes. But I'm really bad with that.
It's almost done.
Yeah, it's almost finished. So quickly go do that, please. I appreciate everyone doing that. All right. So we got a bunch of events here for you guys. Once again, all of the links for all these events are in the description. If you guys are listening to this episode, we will have all of them on our website at northernnetwork.com, and it'll be right in the show notes for this episode. All right.
Now, tell the good people what they want to know, Daniel.
That's right. We got on June 15th is Free RPG Day. So I don't know if anyone out there has gone to a Free RPG Day before, but it's exactly what it sounds like. It's free RPGs. They give you like books, kind of like starter books for every a bunch of different games to go and check out. It's awesome. They're going to be at a bunch of different places. I do have, the Gamers Den, Mission Fun and Games, App to Game down below. They all will be doing a Free RPG Day. So go and check that out. Once again, all the links are down below. Moving along, we have Pure Speculation is happening on June 21st and 22nd. We will be there. We are going to be doing a Nerdcast live from the Alberta, I don't know. It's at the Alberta Avenue Community Hall. But we'll be at the Pure Speculation Festival. We are going to be doing a podcast there. Come check us out. I don't know when our podcast is going to be. I don't know if there is. I don't know. Yeah. He hasn't told me when we're gonna do it, so it'll be a surprise.
Come for the whole day.
Come for 2
Stay
days.
and check it out. It's great fun.
Yes. We will have up as soon as I know. We are gonna have up our up on Twitter. We'll make sure everyone knows exactly when we're gonna be there. So come and check that out. RPG-A-THON is happening on July 13th. And this is happening at the Boyle Street Plaza, 95th Street, 103rd A Avenue. And it's basically, that's exactly what it is. It's RPG-A-THON welcomes everyone to a weekend of unbridled nerdiness. Dress in your favorite cosplay, test your might in the Dungeons and Dragons team deathmatch, play and pursue an assortment of board games with your friends, or spend your hard-earned gold on strange and splendorous treasure, some of which are crafted here by your local artisans. Witness the underworld LARP. And Guildhouse puts on a show that is not for the weak of stomach or faint of heart. And yes, we'll have all the information in the description down below. One last one we have, and that is ANIMETHON 26. And this is happening on August 9th to 11th. And I believe this is happening at the Edmonton Convention Center, which is the Shaw Conference Center. So it's awesome. I'm so excited for ANIMETHON this year. Last year was amazing. I am so looking forward to this year as well. Yeah. Are you guys going to be at any of the events around Edmonton here in the next little while?
We don't have any for sure planned coming up. We were at ANIMETHON last year. They had a fantastic gaming section for the first time. We're still waiting to hear if they're doing that this year. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but if it does, we'll definitely be there.
I would hope they do, man. That gaming area was amazing.
Yeah, it was. We had a fantastic time there. One of the best shows we've been to. So
I know. It was awesome.
I hope they're listening in. I hope they run it again this year.
Yes. Yeah. It'd be crazy if they didn't. Craziness. They also have Fragapalooza on that during that time. I don't know why I didn't mention that. Fragapalooza as well. It's coming up too. I will try to put that in there too. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can people once again find you guys?
So the best place is Twitter at Frozen Machine. On all other social media, we're at The Frozen Machine. And if you like old school stuff, we have a website that's never updated, thefrozenmachine.com.
Awesome.
Hooray!
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Nerdcast. I want to thank everyone out there who listened to the show, and ask everyone, if you can, to share it with your friends on social media. The Northern Nerdcast is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB, and is produced by myself along with Chelsea Thompson and Trina Schessel. You can find out more information on the Northern Nerd Network by checking us out on Twitter at Northern_Nerd, on Facebook.com/NorthernNerd, on YouTube.com/Northern Nerd Network, or on our very own website, NorthernNerdNetwork.com. Now that's all the time we have, and I want to thank everyone out there for watching and or listening to this edition, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.